I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. I did know that if I could get this passed, that it meant a lot for other kids too.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hero's Journey Life Beyond the Diagnosis. I'm your host, Brianna Baskerville, founder of Wichita's Littlest Heroes, where we walk alongside families of medically complex kids, offering community, comfort, and hope.
And I'm Brianna Gallegos. I'm your co-host and proud supporter of these incredible hero families. We're excited to bring you on another powerful episode full of heart, honesty, and inspiration.
This episode is brought to you by our amazing friends at Elite Electric, who have gone above and beyond for our families, helping from everything from electrical repairs to full installs for hero homes. We are so thankful for their support, and we'll be chatting with them a little later in the show.
But first, we have a very special guest with us today. Today we are sitting down with Shawna Ammons, hero mom to 10-year-old Ryker, who has gastroschisis, a rare and serious abdominal condition. Did I say that right?
Gastroschisis.
Gastroschisis.
That's a hard word to say.
I know, and I always mess it up.
Yeah. Well, Shawna's journey is one of faith, strength, and fierce advocacy. Ryker is an absolute warrior, and we're so honored to share a bit about his journey with you today.
So grab a tissue, settle in, and let's dive into another incredible hero's journey.
Can you start by telling us a little bit about your family and who Ryker is?
I am Shawna. I have my son Ryker and my husband Ryan. Ryker is almost 10. He turns 10 in October, and he was born with gastroschisis, where his intestines were on the outside of his body. We are a family that kind of just stick to the three of us. We experienced life a little bit different than most. The first 4 years, we were pretty much alone and isolated.
Were you guys in the hospital?
Yes, we lived there for about the first 3 to 4 years, off and on.
Wow. That had to be really hard.
Yes.
When did you first learn about Ryker's diagnosis?
It was my first trimester. I went in to see if there was any birth defects, as in it was really for Down syndrome. And they came in and told me that he was clear of Down syndrome, but it looked like that he had another condition. And they said it was a birth defect called gastroschisis, and that is when the intestines are on the outside of the body. My husband was not with me.
Oh my gosh.
No.
He was actually, he does commercial hardware, and he was doing a prison. So he wasn't allowed to have his phone either.
Oh my gosh.
So that was a very stressful day for someone to say, your kid's intestines are on the outside of the body. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, does that mean he's alive? Like, how does that work? Of course, they told me some information about it, and then I decided to Google my own research, which was obviously not a good idea, especially when you can't get a hold of your spouse.
Right.
But that's pretty much how we figured it out, was the first trimester. And then it was a crazy ride.
Just trying
going
to
forward.
learn.
Yes, and prepare myself for something I didn't know what I was going to be doing or how it was going to turn out.
What hospital were you guys at?
OU Children's in Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
But we now travel to Boston, and we've been going there since he was 11 months old. So we're going on 9 years, and we see the team every 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
You do some there and then some virtually, right?
Now we do that. COVID happened. Before COVID, we were flying there every 8 weeks. Now they let us flip back off and on with doing telehealth.
That's got to be really expensive.
So expensive. It's crazy. We do have some amazing organizations that do help us, which we would not at all be able to get him the help without those organizations. There's Children's Flight of Hope. They help kids with medical conditions that have life-threatening diseases fly back and forth to get the medical care that they need.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So how does gastroschisis, did I say that right?
So gastro, and then think of ski, like you're skiing, cis.
Gastroschisis. Okay.
That's kind of how I broke it down for myself when I was trying to learn it, because I didn't want to sound like an idiot. And for me, obviously, I was going to have to talk about it. So I was like, I need to know how to say it.
Yeah. How does it affect him daily?
Okay, so gastroschisis is a birth defect, and that is what he was born with. That is not the life-threatening condition that Ryker has. Gastroschisis is what caused Ryker to have his life-threatening condition of short bowel syndrome. So when those intestines were on the outside of the body and he was born, over 75% of his small intestines and 50% of his enlarged intestines were dead. So he went into surgery within minutes of delivery and lost a pound of his intestines right at birth.
Wow, what an entrance to the world.
What were those first days like in the NICU and in the hospital? What was that like? Okay. It's okay.
Sorry, it's like reliving it all over again.
You're okay.
Hard. And I didn't know anything. I didn't understand stuff. Doctor terminology meant nothing to me.
Unknown words, scary words.
Sorry. Gathering myself.
You're okay.
You're fine. You got all the time in the world.
So it was definitely hard. I didn't understand any of it, and I was a new mom. It was my first kid, and then I was trying to make decisions on everything and make the right decisions and be up there every 4 hours for the on-hand care, trying to learn
How to care for him.
how to care for him. And then they made it sound like we were going to go home, maybe with a G-tube or something along those lines. And they actually sent in a infusion company and brought a baby in and showed us a baby with a G-tube and a central line. And I'm like, why are you showing me these things? And she's like, this is what your baby's going home with. And that's how I was told this is how life was going to be. I didn't have a doctor come in and explain like
Why?
well, anything like.
How confusing.
Yes. So it took a while for me to, I guess, adjust to it. He was in the NICU for 3 months. And then we had to do like the training. He went into it's a halfway room, like a transition room from the NICU before you go home. And we were able to, both parents stay with him overnight and kind of just learn of how life was about to be. And then we went home. It was just a few days before Christmas, and a nurse met us there, and she walked us through everything. I was overwhelmed and confused. My cousin was there. She left, and I remember just closing the door and then...
Like, I don't know what I'm
losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost it.
Yeah. I had a moment like that with Tristan, too, in the hallway where I literally just hit my knees and just wailed. And those are moments that, like, change your brain chemistry. And
Oh,
you got me
I've
going.
never seen Bree cry. That's hard.
It changes your brain chemistry.
It does. I can definitely say that Ryker has completely changed the person that I am altogether.
He is such an amazing kid.
He is.
He is so much fun to be around, and he is just like a joy. And if anything in that podcast, that's something I really want people to know when they walk away from this, of like what an amazing kid Ryker and his family is. Like, you guys are there for so much for our fundraising and for, just all the events, and it's just
Supporting other families.
Ryker just brings so much joy. He's one of the most polite kids. That is something I know you're really big on his manners, and
His
you
compliments.
told me the other day compliments is that you better not. What was it?
If you're going to look at someone, it better be looking for something the good in them, something that you like about them, not something to judge them negatively about.
Yeah.
So like, and I told him like disabled kids, he's like, you can see that they're in a wheelchair and that's fine that you see that, but you need to find something else that you like. And if you're going to compliment and look at them, that's what needs to be. And he of course took it to the extreme, and he has to compliment nearly 99% of people he comes in
I
contact
love
with.
it.
I do too.
And he brings
Every
a smile.
Walmart greeter, it does not even matter. The gas station, the homeless person, it does not matter to him. It has to be. And at, first he was like, "You're so pretty," and he's like, Dad, do I get to tell the guys that they're pretty?" And he's like, "I probably wouldn't go. I'd probably say they're handsome or you like their hair." And he's like, "That's probably good. I probably shouldn't say they're pretty." So he just loves to compliment.
Well, that's something I really took, and I want to implement with my kids, and something I want to teach them. That it's something you've brought to my attention that I think is really, really helpful. So,
And the
good
world's
job on
so
that.
full of so much judgment. It's nice. He's a breath of fresh air when it comes to that, because he's going to bring a smile to your face.
He tries
even
to
when
be
you
the positive Polly
He
as much as he can.
does.
And
Well,
it's
yeah.
definitely helped the outlook that I have had on this situation many times.
How has Ryker's medical journey impacted your daily family life over the years?
Crazy. There's no consistency. We know that the alarms are the same that go off every day in the same time and what needs to be done, but you just don't know how the gut will react or how he's going to feel that day.
And
What machines are going to go beeping, what lines are going to break and blood be everywhere. Like, it's always
he's an active little sucker. So
yes. And
pulling
that's also
stuff.
one of our biggest challenges is that Ryker looks normal when he's not hooked up to his TPN. So everyone just assumes he's just fine, which I like that, but it backfires on us a lot.
Right.
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
What kind of medical procedures, therapies, and support does Ryker need? What are the needs that he has continuously?
A central line. Explain that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand what a central line means and like how it affects him.
Like when he's hooked up, like what is that when you say that? What is
Okay, yeah. So there are actually two different things. A lot of people get them confused. There's a G tube, which is a peg that goes through the stomach wall, and you can get formula and things like that through it and give meds. And then there is a central line that is in the chest, and it's fed through a main vein of the heart, and that's where he gets his nutrients. You can't put it through a regular vein. It's too potent. So it has to go through a main artery. With that being said, there's only so many of them. So if you are to get sick or get a line infection, a tooth infection, anything like that that goes within the bloodstream, he can get septic. He could die immediately, or he could get that line has to be pulled. And once it's pulled, that's one of your lifelines.
Right.
You have one less lifeline.
How many are there?
Every kid's a little different.
Oh, okay.
So we think Ryker has 6 or 7. And Ryker, which this is my biggest accomplishment, I think, in my entire life. Ryker's had 0 line infections. And
Oh, wow.
that is super uncommon. Normally within the first year of anyone having a central line, they normally have at least 1 infection to 2 just the first year.
And
So-
those infections are due to...
Cleanliness, it can really go, it can anything. Your body can create sometimes yeast. There's tons of different ways where you can get a line infection, but most of it has to be, well, for me, I think it's consistency. I don't allow anyone else to do his dressing changes or take his cap off or do any of those types of things. I don't allow it at the hospital either. I do it myself. And I really think that the same person doing the same thing over and over and it just being consistent, and him being my child. So I make sure when I'm doing those dressing changes, they're done to
They're clean.
perfection, I guess. So, yeah, I guess just I've been overly cautious. And when he had an ostomy, which we've had a couple of them, that's the hardest time to be able to keep a line clean.
Because it's close to the ostomy.
And it's dirty, and this is clean, and this has to stay clean. This is always going to be dirty, and you never can mix the two. Everything that's done here has to be done sterile on the central line versus the G-tube can be done, they call it like dirty versus clean. It can be done without having to have sterile gloves on and a mask and all of those things. So things don't have to be coming freshly out of a package like they do for a central line.
And how often are you having to, explain what that looks like? How often you have to hook him up and change that line and do those dressings? Like, what is that?
Ryker is hooked up 14 hours of the day. So he goes up at 8 p.m. and then gets disconnected at 10 a.m. We have a little bit of a window where we can move things around about an hour. We weren't able to do that at the beginning, but his body's kind of regulated to it because, again, that's like all his nutrients. So where everyone else gets nutrients from food, Ryker gets none, and it's all comes from the bags of TPN and omega-vin, which is the fats.
But originally, when he started TPN, it wasn't 14 hours a day. It was almost like 24 hours a day, wasn't it?
It was 24 hours. And we went home on 24 hours.
So
now they do not do that. They don't let you go home until you get off a couple hours.
So you have worked down from 24 hours to 14 hours over the years.
Yes.
So that's taken
a long time.
Yeah.
Well, and we've had a lot of progress forward, like 1 or 2 steps and 10 back. So with most kids, they're not at this age, they're not TPN dependent. They're not depending 100% on the TPN. They're also getting nutrients from G-tube feeds, or they'll eat by mouth. Ryker has awful oral version, and everything to him tastes nasty, overpowering. He can taste the difference from his clean, smart water versus water that I can get from the sink, which I know a lot of people can, but I mean, it's extreme to him. Mm-hmm. So even toothpaste, he'll sit there and scrape his tongue after he brushes his teeth and gag because it has even the tiniest bit of flavor. Mm. So it's definitely been interesting, and we don't have the same challenges as typical parents.
Yeah.
Except for those cubed Totino's pepperonis.
He is addicted to it, which is weird. There's a pizza, Totino's, and there's the little square pepperonis on it, and he will eat just the pepperonis.
How many pizzas do you waste? Just the pepperonis.
We have now cut back to 1 a day.
Okay.
1 pizza a day. He said he needed to do it anyways. It was hurting his tummy. He's like, I think I can only do 1 pizza a day. So he literally just eats the pepperonis off of it, sucks on a little bit, and then he will chew them, kind of. I think he just kind of swallows them. I'm not really sure. And then throws away the rest of the pizza.
I love that he's self-regulated himself. Like, I think I can only have 1 pizza a day.
Oh, it affected his tummy, so.
Yeah.
How has Ryker's condition affected him socially, emotionally, or at school? I know school's kind of been a battle.
It has been a battle is a good way of putting it. Mm-hmm. Socially, life has been hard. Ryker didn't get to have communication with much for the first 4 years of his life. We were in and out of the hospital. Generally, kids are the ones that hold the most germs, so we couldn't have him around any children. So he was being raised primarily just between my husband and I. At that time, we also didn't know that we could have nursing. So that was...
And it surprises me how many parents do not... I have to tell parents this, that you are qualified for nursing. And I'm like, how has no one told you this?
It doesn't matter how much you make. If your kid is disabled...
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it doesn't for everyone. For us, it does not matter because since Ryker lives fully off of TPN, it automatically puts him on the waiver of able to be able to have the nurse. Mm-hmm. But there's so many parents out there that kids that have have lines and they
don't have nurses,
have no nursing.
And everyone they're literally like,
everyone has to, one person of the parents, someone has to quit their job.
Yeah. Somebody has to stay home 24. Yeah. When Tristan was sick, I had to quit too.
Yeah. So socially, it's been really hard. I shut down, I would say the first 5 years. I was jealous of everyone that got to do normal things. And then when COVID happened, evil part of me was like, now all of you have to live like we were. You guys are now wearing masks. We were wearing masks beforehand. We were always living in this bubble, and no one could come around if they didn't have a flu shot. No one could come around if they had this sneezes or any runny nose. Like, I was very, very, very strict. And if I wouldn't have been, we would have been in the hospital even more. With Ryker, when he gets sick, his whole immune system shuts down. The remaining part of his intestines and everything just go south, and it will affect him not just for a couple days or a couple weeks. It'll be months. So there's times where he has to go back up on TPN because it hurts him so bad, and get taken off a G-tube formula feeds completely, which has backfired on us and has recently happened. So those things kind of are our biggest challenge, I would definitely say, is the social part of being a medical parent. Being able to have any type of life outside of home. Life has gotten a little bit easier now that he is almost 10, but it's still hard all the time, honestly.
Oh.
He wants to play with someone every single day. He wakes up begging to play with kids. So that's really hard because he looks for us to be able to provide that. So here I am just like messaging people. Can your kid come play? Can I come pick up your kid? Will you drop off your kid?
Can I come play with your kid?
Can you please? So that's definitely really hard. And he takes it, he's very emotional, as you two both know. Mm-hmm. He's very emotional. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and
he's emotionally intelligent child, I would say. Like his verbal skills, like he can verbally tell you and calmly tell you. Not most kids get upset. He's very calm.
He definitely is. He didn't talk till he was 4, so I think he is still making up for those years.
Yes, all of it. And will always ask you the most
challenging personal questions, but he doesn't know them as being personal questions. He's just like, I'm just asking a question. I'm like, you can't ask those kind of questions. That's not right.
Ask mommy those questions.
And then as for school, that has been a disaster. Ryker hasn't really, I guess, had the standard school experience at all. We tried to do homeschooling. They're like pre-K, kindergarten. Then we moved and we tried to do a private school. With that, I had to attend because insurance will not cover nursing. Once a nurse walks in the school, it is the school's responsibility to pay for the nurse. So private schools, obviously that's out the window. So I was there every day. So that was doing something to my mental stability. Oh, I'm not a teacher. I am not a teacher. I don't like to. It was a lot. It was a lot. And so I had to pull myself from that, and it wasn't working for Ryker either. So there was a lot of challenges there. And then we worked on getting him into a public school. With that came a lot of more challenges. We had to do a due process, a hearing, the whole shebang. It was intense and went over a year. I lost 50 pounds. I lost most of my hair. I broke out in hives every day. I had to take medication to control my hives.
It was really hard. Yeah. You're fighting to get him the basic want of him being in school and having that socialization.
Just a normal childhood.
I knew I was going to fight for his medical condition, but the school, I just thought it was normal. Like, my kids could be able to go to school and be able to get the education, be around other kids, get that experience. No, it was a huge backfire.
And it was a big personal toll on your life and your family. And we watched you go through that. And I think it was eye-opening for a lot of people and for a lot of families that may walk in this journey behind you. And I think that was a really big part of what you wanted. You were not just fighting for Ryker. You were fighting for all the kids.
And I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. I did know that if I could get this passed, that it meant a lot for other kids too, which is I know why they fought so hard against us and spent thousands and thousands of dollars. There's no way they didn't.
Right.
They actually even hired a specific attorney that goes against the disabled. I'd never imagined that I would have so many people in my life. I wasn't running to be the governor. I was just trying to get my kid in school. And they were pulling up social media. And you let so-and-so watch your kid, and just the things that they were trying to accuse me of, or make our lives seem like it was something different than what it really was really, really challenging. And the thing is his team, his Boston doctors, these are Harvard doctors, said that he cannot attend school without a one-on-one nurse. He requires a one-on-one nurse. Why? Because he goes hooked up with IVs hanging out of his chest. Multiple things can happen. Their thing is the likeliness of a kid pulling out is rare. And maybe it is, but we think about all the other things. It happens quite often. The product has a malfunction and comes and pulls or whatever. He got cooked on a little cheap blanket one time, and it snagged it and pulled the wires apart. Yeah. And with that, if you don't have pressure going towards the heart from the pump pushing and it breaks, then there's no pressure and all that. It's then an open valve and blood just comes spewing out. It's an open because it already has the attachment to have the line open, and now this part at the end broke. And so all of that blood is just starting to go. So it's been
that's so scary.
Traumatizing. It's happened at the home schools, and then it's happened at home. It happens everywhere. The thing is it's not something that everyone can deal with. It's very overwhelming.
But it's a matter of life and death.
100%. So that's why they require the one-on-one nurse. And in Kansas, it is the law that to deal with a child that has a central line, or central lines in general, not even just a child, you have to be an RN. So you have to have the license of an RN to be able to touch my kid. So no other nurse, they tried to
LPN.
And yeah, LPN was the very last that they had tried. But before then, they wanted to try just like a para or a CNA. And I'm like, well, this wouldn't make sense. They would then have to call an RN to get there. And by that time he'd be gone. Because you bleed out so fast. It's insane. Because it's a main artery.
Right, in your
heart.
heart.
In your heart.
Yeah.
So it just flows. So it's overwhelming. Ryker also panics about it, and you would think he'd be kind of used to it, but his blood still freaks him out.
I can imagine.
How has Wichita's Littlest Heroes impacted and helped your family along the way?
Greatly. I have gained a lot of friends, which have made a huge impact.
Knowing that there's somebody else. I'll never forget when I saw Ryker find the other kid at that cookie party.
Oh yeah,
the Valentine's Day party.
Yes, because he was like, "There's somebody else like me."
Yeah, he has a line too,
and he can't. He couldn't sit there and eat the cookies, and he couldn't do the things, and it was just that. Yeah. That was really impactful for me as starting here, because that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that people know that they're not alone and there's other people doing it. And you advocate a lot for our other families. You connect, you help them with resources and fight for them. And
I'm the weird one that will see someone in a wheelchair or notice that there may be some type of medical condition. And I always say, hey, do you know anything about Wichita's Littlest Heroes?
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
So, I do it a lot, probably a lot more. And then there's some people that are like, yeah, but we don't really do much. And I'm like, oh, you should. It's life-changing. I'm like, they have mom night. just the simple fact of Ryker feeling completely normal is a whole different feeling.
It is. I get the tears going again.
Sorry. I don't know. It's like I took a extra motion
Crying
before I came.
pill.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. But the two of you have done big things, have impacted my family tremendously.
Well, we love you.
And I will be honest. I questioned when Brianna came on. I will say this. I questioned when when I was introduced, and my first question was like, do you even have a medical kid? How are you supposed to fight for our kids and not know what it's like?
She does an amazing job, though.
That's an understatement. She blows it out of the park.
Okay. Let's talk about something else. What advice would you give, or what encouragement would you give to other families or parents as they're starting a similar journey? Don't do a podcast and cry.
Okay. Yeah, that would be first. I would definitely start looking for help immediately.
Resources.
Because resources make a big difference. I was so alone those first few years. And also I was in Oklahoma, so I wasn't here. And I've met people here and there, but it was the most lonely, depressed. I've watched my kid die several times. It was just everything seemed like it was getting worse. And never things weren't getting better. Hey, if you do this surgery, it'll fix your kid. And it did the opposite. It started to kill him. And then that's when we had to switch care. It's just we've went through all of these waves. And I really think that if I would have had more help at the beginning, that I wouldn't have went through those awful days. But now I also try to look at it in the positive way. And I now don't want anyone suffering or needing help or
Feeling alone.
Me too, girl.
So I often go out of my way for everyone. Just because I don't ever want anyone to feel that way again. And then even medical parents, when they find out something and someone tries to link me with them, and they push back because they are not acceptant of the life that they
Have yet.
Yes. And I know what that feels like, and I know how hard it was, but I always keep pushing.
I have no
And I
doubt.
keep knowing that I'm still there, because if all else fails one night, you're by yourself and you don't know what to do, you have my phone number and you can call me and I will help you walk through it, because this last 9 years, I've experienced what you're experiencing probably 10 times. So yeah, that's my biggest.
And it's so much easier when you have somebody to walk it through. And that's where, our tagline, "No one fights alone," comes from, is because, it's so much easier when you have someone to do it with, even if it's not the same diagnosis, even if it's, something a little different, just having that friend or that, just makes it so much easier. So
100%. I would not be here today, I can tell you, if it weren't for a couple things, and having that support from other medical families has been life-changing. So,
well, Shawna, thank you so much for sharing Ryker's journey with us. Your journey and honesty truly shone a light on realities for our hero families face and the resilience it takes to keep moving forward.
Ryker is such a fighter. And hearing this story, it seriously reminds me of why this community exists and why we strive to make sure that no one feels alone, because you do that for our other families, and that's just a perfect example.
Yeah.
thank you guys.
And part of that support comes from incredible community partners who make it possible for Wichita's Littlest heroes to keep saying yes to families in need.
One of these amazing partners is Elite Electric, a company that not only sponsors our mission, but also shows up in a big way, completing meaningful projects for our families that make a real difference.
This company has helped us. It was Ryker's birthday, and we couldn't find out why our electricity wouldn't. It was a plug-in. It wouldn't work, so we couldn't have the bouncy house. And I was in panic mode, and this one called Elite, and they showed up, and it was honestly the dumbest thing. There was a button that needed pushed, like a surge button, but it took them, they followed the line. It was intense. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, this is what it was. And I was like, I am so sorry. I felt so bad. But they were so kind through the whole process. They were all worried about cleaning and making sure they weren't making any messes. But just as a personal person that has dealt with them, they have been incredible. So I'm glad that you guys were doing Elite today.
Yeah, it works out. One of those amazing partners is Elite Electric, a company that not only sponsors our mission, but also shows up in a big way, completing meaningful projects for our families that make a real difference.
So now let's hear from our team at Elite Electric about why they support our heroes and how giving back has become a part of their company's heart. Well, thank you for being here with us today, Stephen. Can you share a little bit about what inspired Elite Electric to get involved with Wichita's Littlest Heroes?
I think 1 year into business, I was looking around for businesses. I pretty much Googled, hey, like nonprofits that help kids. And I think Wichita's Littlest Heroes was maybe like 4th or 5th down the list.
Oh, we got to fix that.
Yeah. And there was a lot of them that are like well-known, like nationwide ones. And I was looking for something more local, something that had to do with kids. I have 3 daughters, so helping kids is something that's on my heart. Found Wichita's Littlest Heroes. I seen that you guys were doing a Christmas wrapping drive, and we just showed up, asked how we could help, and then I think from there we kind of started building a relationship.
That's awesome. You've helped several of our hero families with important home projects. Can you tell us about 1 or 2 that really stood out to your team?
Yes. So the first one that we did, I think this was right as we became partnering with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady that had a swimming pool that she wanted to get power to for, she said that her kid to get, I think, exercise or be able to move around because he wasn't able to do really any kind of.
He was wheelchair bound.
Yeah. So we went in, replaced their panel to their home. We ran power out to all their pool pumps, got everything hooked up. And then that was the first one. We did it all for free. That
was amazing.
And it
was a huge impact.
Yeah. I was hoping it would be. I didn't get to follow up, but
it was. And that was Zach, and Zach had a life-threatening medical condition that ended up taking his life, but because of you guys, he was able to, use the pool a little bit. So we really appreciate you guys and everything that you guys did for us.
You probably don't, like you said, you don't get the follow-up, but we get to hear the impact that it has when you go out and help the families, and it's even the smallest things makes a big impact on helping their day-to-day lives, for sure.
Why is supporting medically complex children and their families something your company feels so passionate about?
So, like I said, I'm a father of 3.
Mm-hmm.
I understand how hard it is to be just a regular parent. So, like, thinking about how more difficult it would be if, my kids did have, my oldest daughter has, she has like seizures, like epileptic seizures. So she's in and out of the hospital a little bit, but it's not, it's not
How
something.
Are you just now telling us this?
Yeah, I haven't really talked to anybody about it. But that's something that she's had to deal with. It's not something that, we're going monthly or anything. It's just randomly. But even that, just seeing how much harder it is to be a parent, to these children, and how well everybody, from what I've seen throughout like the events and stuff, it's, everybody just listening to the last interview, like having to be so strong. Like you guys were talking about not crying, and I'm over there like little tears because I don't have to deal with that. And I think them having to be so strong all the time that, that's for them, they're just more used to it. So they're not, me over there, I was feeling it just from the conversation. But, if we can help a little bit and make their lives easier, that's something that we love to do. So.
You're known for giving back in the community. I mean, Elite Electric does a lot for people. You guys are out there a lot. Why is that community involvement like a core value for you guys? Or
community involvement is one of our core values, and it's I mean, it's what's built our business. Being out there supporting, every other business owner that we come across, supporting all of our friends, trying to grow the Wichita community and Wichita small business community. Just like to give back. I don't know. I guess
You're not very good at tooting your own horn here.
Yeah. And I don't have I guess I haven't thought that deeply into it, but it's just something that I like to do, and wherever we can help, we do. So.
Well, we
Seems like it's been
it.
instilled in you for a while, and this isn't anything.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm sure I could probably figure it out if I went to some therapy and kind of deep dove into my why, but yeah.
What would you say to other companies or individuals who are considering giving to Wichita's Littlest Heroes?
You should work with Wichita's Littlest Heroes, especially if you have children or you have a heart for children, and helping families. I've seen the way that you guys have impacted people. I've seen that, the money that you get, the support that you get, that how you are bringing these families together and building a community to where people that are struggling with things are able to have other people around to see that. Because like I said, it's a great mission, and you guys are doing great.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. We love working with partners like you guys. You guys are one of our favorite people to work with, and we always look forward to seeing your team.
Appreciate it.
A huge thank you to our friends at Elite Electric for not only sponsoring this episode, for the hands-on love and care you continue to show our hero families. Your support truly lights up more than just our homes. It lights up our lives.
And of course, a special thank you to Shawna Ammons for bravely sharing Ryker's story with us. Shawna, you're an incredible mom and advocate, and we are honored to have you on our hero's journey.
If today's episode inspired you, moved you, or helped you feel a little less alone, we'd love for you to like, share, and follow our podcast. Every click helps us reach more families and shine a brighter light on the journeys beyond the diagnosis.
We're so grateful for this community. Thank you for being here. And until next time, keep believing, keep fighting, and never forget that you are not alone on this journey.